Where's her eyebrows? They fell off. Ooh, I spit. They fell off. Anthony tooted and they just fell right off. That's the married life for you. I'm only kidding. So in this video, I just wanted to go over what's going on in my marriage post VSG surgery. I had gone online and just kind of researched like what happens with people, because I've just been curious about relationships. If one person is on board and the other's not, like how does that work? So I wanted to go over that with my personal story and some things that I came across online for you guys. So let's get into it. All right, so first things first, let's address the elephant in the room. Oh girl, we ain't got no makeup on. And that is okay. I've got things to do. Life is busy. I've got a couple workouts to get in after this. Got to get the teenagers, chauffeur them around a bit. So this is life as it happens. We are all beautiful, no matter what shape, size, full glam, no glam. It is okay. So let me get comfortable in this not so comfortable chair, but it's the only tall one. A few years ago, I had been doing my best to try and lose weight. I had eating disorders, so I had gained a whole bunch. My heaviest weight was 238 pounds. I thought about surgery, but I really wrestled with it within myself because I didn't want to feel like, oh, that's the easy way out, or that it's happening that way and then I'm not doing any work, because I was really trying hard. I thought on it for like 6 months and then ended up talking to my husband one night about it, and he said, I was really concerned about that. I wanted to talk to you, and I think that's a great idea. I just wasn't sure how to bring it up to you. So that was kind of a relief for me, but then I still had that inner turmoil of, how is it gonna, is it gonna look bad? Is he gonna think less of me, like you're just taking this easy way out? And the reality is, it's not an easy way out. It is a tool to help us, get this weight off. You can very much undo it. You can very much go against what the recommendations are of these doctors and these specialists, and either just not lose weight or gain even more weight. It's not an easy way out. And it was really great to hear him be so supportive and understand my thoughts on it, my concerns on it. So in 2021, I had the surgery. We were still, in the pandemic. I didn't have to lose a bunch of weight, and I think it just happened that way because of the pandemic and things were just so crazy. But I ended up getting the surgery, and now I'm a little over 100 pounds lost. I am in a bit of a stall, and that's okay. These things happen. Our body has to kind of get to normal. But all the way through it, he has been nothing short of amazing and empathetic and understanding and just there for me. He's my biggest cheerleader, and I am incredibly grateful for that, because a lot of things that I've seen on TV or things that I've read online, that can be a very different case for a lot of people. I was never concerned about what our relationship would be like post-surgery, because he's always been so wonderful to me and so supportive to me. So it's crazy to think that something that's meant to be so good for you, this tool that is meant to help you, can also be the demise of your relationship. And that makes me sad for those people. But in seeing things on TV where the partner is very like unsupportive, and they'll get jealous of the amount of weight that's lost with that person. You know, I can see that being kind of a big deal. But I would hope that we're all comfortable, you know, within ourselves and, you know, confident in our relationship to know like the love is there. But I mean, for some it's not, and for some they just straight out try to sabotage the progress, and that's really sad in itself. But for us, it's not that way. Like, I would say like the only kind of peccadillo, if you will, you know, he's a thin guy, and when he runs a lot, he loses weight really easily and super fast. And he can eat a whole lot, and you know, it doesn't really affect him.
You dick!
That was never the case for me. And so even to this day, like, he'll still have whatever, like grilled cheese or pizza or things like that, and like I'll eat the cheese off of it, or maybe a little bit of crust if I know like I'm running 8-9 miles the next day or whatever. But that's kind of like the little thing with us with food wise. He'll just, you know, he gets to eat what he wants, but he never tries to shove it in my face like, oh, I get to have this, or I'm gonna have that cookie, or, you know, I'm gonna drink this carbonated water, or, you know, stuff like that. And that's okay, because I'm confident in what I'm doing, and I know that like I'm trying my best, and he is supportive, and he still needs to be able to live his life. He doesn't have the, you know, eating disorders. He doesn't have the background that I have. We are very different people. Yes, he has his own things, but it doesn't make it to where we're like incompatible when we have our meals or anything. You know, we're both vegetarians, so that works. The kids are not vegetarians. They're very much carnivores. And, you know, I still make meat, like real meat, and then our like fake meat. For us, there's, you know, a couple different dinners that go on, or lunches or whatever, you know, those kind of things happen. But if I'm ever feeling like there's too much happening, or he's kind of going ham on some of the food, and, you know, literally the day before he's like, oh, I had too much, or, you know, he may make a comment about what he ate, or overeating or whatever, or the little baby love handle he may have, like, then I'll let him know the next time it pops up. Like, we communicate so much, and it's a wonderful thing. I am the type of person that if something is bothering me, I'm not gonna hold it in. I don't care if it, you know, we're walking in the house and it's 10 o'clock at night and something happens right then and there. I'm gonna let you know right then and there. And I don't care if we're super tired, you know, I'm gonna let you know, and we're gonna deal with it right then and there. And that's worked out really, really great for us. So I think, you know, communication is such a big deal. I think the support is such a big deal. And if there are any of like those little peccadillos, then handle them immediately. You know, I'll let him know, hey, no, I don't want any ice cream, or please don't offer me that.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Like, I had my meal and I am full, it is too much. So, you know, yeah, your stomach can handle it, but I cannot. And he respects those boundaries, and it is great. So, you know, I would really hope that everyone could be like that, but I also know the reality is that not every relationship is that way. I also read that the confidence shift is a really big deal in the breakup of relationships or marriages. As for me, yes, I have grown more confident in myself and the things I am able to do throughout this journey, and I have a wonderful support system. Over time, I'm slowly able to get faster. And yes, I throw the word slowly in there because I know it's progress. It is slow, but I'm still doing better. And some days I'll be able to come pretty close to keeping up his pace. For him, everything is kind of like a race, for lack of better words. I can't think of a competition. Things are competition. He's, you know, competing against the people in front of him when we do races, you know, trying to just get further and further from the people behind him. And it's the same thing, you know, he's made comments like, oh my gosh, I can't let you get faster than me. And I'm not a competitive person. Like, I'm out there having fun. I love this sport. I love what I do. And, you know, but it is fun for me to poke at him and tell him, like, I'm gonna catch you, and one day I'm gonna beat you. And so that's kind of like our little go-to thing with running. You know, he sees that I'm getting better, and that also pushes him to work harder and do better and make sure he doesn't miss his training runs, and gets these things in. So we just, that's how we work. It's not something like, oh, you're doing better than me. For the longest time, it was that for me when I was heavy, was I just don't want you running with me because you're too fast. I feel like I'm slowing you down. Like, it was such a mind game, and it was awful, and that wasn't the way to live. So yeah, that was like another crazy thing I came across online, is the whole confidence thing. You know, we have that confidence within ourselves, and we feel better. We, you know, you think you start to look better. I just don't want that to come out like sounding like shitty, you know? Or like, I'm better because I look better. That's not the case. It's just, you can fit into a different kind of clothing. If you want to change your style, you can do that. You have a little more options now. And so that whole looking better part, that's all that means to me. I thought I looked okay back then, but I mean, there's always room for improvement. Always. I guess one of the last major things I came across was your lifestyle change. So people who have the surgery and like really work at it and do the things they're supposed to from getting this tool, like, they have a whole different outlook now. They want to do like the right things. They want to follow what their specialists are telling them. And that's a big deal. If, let's say, both people are obese together, you're in that life, you've kind of created these bad habits together, and now this other person has broken off and is trying to do their best. So it's like, you know, support. You gotta support each other with this, or, you know, I guess that's why I can see the breakups happen, divorces happen, because if one person's really trying and the other one's not, or the other one's not supportive, or the other one's bringing them down, then over time you are no longer parallel. This other person is just gonna like soar, and that's where it is, you know? Your activity levels, all of that stuff changes. And I never want this to come off as like holier than thou, because that's not what I mean from it ever. But knowing now like how I felt back then at my heaviest and how I feel now is such a difference. Oh my gosh, and I want everybody to be able to experience that. You feel so much better. The things you're able to do are amazing. And from just walking, around the block, walking a couple miles, for me doing a marathon and continuing wanting, this journey to be awesome, running these long miles. Sex is different, and it was great before, but it is off the charts now.
Damn!
And I can't, that's just 100% life. There's different things that like happen, and I could not be like more excited about it. Sometimes in my own head, I'll be like, oh my gosh, like what does the skin look like? Like I know it laying there, if I look down, it looks kind of like my thighs are melting, or the skin is just kind of melting off the side of my hips onto the bed. Like I am very much aware of what I look like, but I have a supportive partner that these things like don't matter. He loves me unconditionally, and he also knows that this is part of the process. So, I have to kind of bring myself back and go like, snap out of that, because you're only like messing with your own head. You're kind of doing that harm to yourself, and it's just not necessary. So just flick the lights off when needed. And that's what's going on over here. So he's seen me through a multitude of weights, sizes, head spaces, all of that, and he's still here going strong, and I absolutely love him for that unconditional love. I would say one little fun fact, if you've never heard of it, there is something called the 5 Love Languages. It's a book. I believe it's also an Audible, so it's an audio book. But I prefer the hard copy because I like to kind of refer back to things. But you can find a really cool chart online. They have them everywhere, and it gives 5 different love languages, and the book goes into super detail about it. And that definitely helped us gauge the things that we appreciate, and kind of what makes us tick. The reality is, these simple things can help someone feel loved, and then in turn this comes out in and goes back to you. So that's just a really cool resource. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I am an open book, and I am more than happy to answer things that you have out there. So thank you again for joining. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope that you got some value from this. So my name is Jen Bailey. I'm a VSG athlete, and I will see you next time, sending light, love, and happiness.